Hello, Scorpio. Thank you for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Alright, I already shuffled. I literally had cards falling out of the deck, like 3 of them. They're all face down. We'll see what they're going to be. I feel like it's the where they fell. It's good. It's going to be something in the environment that's causing a problem for the situation, and you're just going to have to walk away from something temporarily. This may actually go well for you. Let's get a little deeper into it to be sure. Because when I feel you getting into this situation, whatever the situation is, it's already in already in a kerfuffle. There's problems. People are arguing. For some of you, people aren't arguing. They're just like snide, or just kind of like they snicker at each other, or they just kind of scoff at each other. They just kind of look down at each other. It's something weird. Some of you, it's not people arguing with each other, but just kind of like people like ugh, you. Like they have attitudes with each other. And when you're getting involved with it, you're just kind of like, what is this about? You got the Emperor, and you're just kind of like, what is going on? You're trying to pay attention. You're not jumping into anything right off the bat, but you're just kind of like, what's the problem with these people? Why are they treating each other this way? It's really like you literally don't understand. It's almost like you're looking at the situation and like, you're all from the same town. Why are you siding like east side, west side, like you're all in the same town? That's how you're looking at it. You're like, it's a small town, it's not even that big, and you're doing east side, west side? Like, are you kidding me? What's the deal? Like, it doesn't make sense. To you, it doesn't really make sense is what I'm getting. But you're trying to understand, like, why are these attitudes here? Like, the way they're looking down at each other, you're like, really? Like, it doesn't make sense to you. Like, that's really kind of foolish. Now, you're not fixing anything right off the bat. I feel like you're holding back and you're absorbing information. In the actual situation, like you're realizing what's really going on there. And the Ace of Swords is showing up, like you're asking the right questions. Like, is this really east side, west side? Because that seems really ridiculous for a little town like this. What's really going on? Oh, well, the people over here, they get the municipal water and they don't have to pay for it. Everybody else on the other side of town, they have to drill wells, but everybody has to pay for the municipal water even if they don't use it. So there's kind of like a rivalry there. It's just kind of weird. Just people get upset that they have to pay for something they can't use, and the people who get the benefit of it just think they're better than that anyway. So it's kind of weird. It's just a weird town thing. I wouldn't worry about it. Like, I feel like you're finding out, like, you're like, wow, that's really what people are upset about. I feel like it's petty. Like, the realization is kind of like, it's really petty. It's really not something to be upset about. It's just kind of like, in all truth, the people who are using it should be the one paying for it, and the people who aren't using it shouldn't have to pay for it. So that's kind of interesting. And you're figuring out what the real problem is. Now, this is all happening. All this is face down. People are still having problems. And that water thing, that's just an analogy, of course. But it's like, it's something weird like that. Kind of like, okay. No, I feel like there's reasons the way things are working out. And what you're finding out further down the road is it's kind of like rob Peter, pay Paul type thing. It's like, oh, everybody pays for the water and only one side gets to use it. But there's things on the other side of town that they get to use that they don't have to pay for, that everybody's paying for, or something weird. Something is balancing out. And when I'm getting the Lovers reversed, is like literally it's just kind of like, it's like a really weird balancing. It doesn't make people feel good. It's just kind of like if you just straighten out what people are paying for and didn't make it such a mess, and it's not you, but whoever did this made it so weird. Like, it's like jumping all over the place. The money is balancing is what I'm getting at, but the Lovers reversed is telling me the way it's being done is really poor. It's just not being done very well. there's people who made deals behind the scenes. Other people are the problem here. That's the thing. The people who are arguing, that's not really where the problem is. It's people behind that. It's the people making the decisions. Like, if we're going to use that water thing again, which I know is a weird analogy, I apologize, but it's kind of like the politicians that made those decisions of who's going to pay for this and who's going to pay for that. They're the ones who are actually creating the problem. But the people arguing about it are just the people who got stuck with paying for it. Like, they're arguing with each other, and that's not changing anything. You should be arguing with the politicians and getting on the politicians' butt to fix it. And they don't want to. It's just not happening that way. That's what I'm getting. Like, there's people here behind the scenes that get along very well. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's all face down. They're getting away with it. It's making other people unhappy because they don't understand how the situation's really working out. It's really weird. It's like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then you're paying this one with that one. It's going around the circle, but everything actually eventually balances out, but it's done in such a way that everybody's upset because, like, if you rob somebody to pay someone else, and then this person gets that, and then if you technically get the money, but you still feel like somebody robbed you, it's, you know what I mean? I don't know. I hope that makes sense. It's like somebody steals your lunch money. They steal $5 from you, and then down the road somebody else gives you $5 back just to give it to you. You're not going to feel like that balances. You're going to feel like, well, I would have had $10 if it was played out correctly, not realizing that $5 coming back to you is actually purposely coming back to you because somebody else is making sure you get your money back. Yeah, like you got your money robbed. Somebody else is making sure you get your money back, but they're not saying that's why they're giving it to you. So you're not realizing. You're thinking, if I didn't get robbed, I would have had $10. Not realizing if you didn't get robbed, this person wouldn't have given you the $5. The whole reason they gave you that is because you got robbed. But they're not saying you that. That's what's so messed up. It's like other people are causing the problems, and I see you figuring it out. The Empress here is like you're seeing what's really going on there, and you're seeing through all like when I'm seeing the Seven of Cups, there's like this whole circus going on, and you're just like, this connects to that, connects to this, and you're just kind of like, you know what, I'm out. You're walking away from it. You're just like, it's too much of a mess. I understand that it balances, and part of you's like, it seems like it balances anyway. I'm not getting in it. I'm not getting in it because it's ridiculous. And it's other people like messing with things. Because it's like a group of people who are upset, and then there's other people behind them actually screwing things up. And it's just, you're just like, this is a circus. I'm stepping out because it's maddening. It's maddening. So, as it keeps going forward, you're staying out of it still. You got the Hermit card. You're watching from a distance as far back as you can get. You got the Hermit card. You're like, I still see you looking at it like, that's ridiculous. This is like, you're looking at it like, what am I really supposed to do with that? Because you know it's the people behind them. It's the politicians. It's not the people actually arguing. It's the politicians that can fix it because they screwed it up. And you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. Because you can't seem to argue with the people who are having this, who are looking down at each other. Because you're like, that's ridiculous. So you're staying out of it. I'm getting like, the situation is going to have to solve itself. I do feel like it's going to have to solve itself. The Five of Cups shows up. That's the Five of Cups? It is. It's just, it's not, nothing is working out here. People are feeling very upset with the whole situation. There's a lot of frustration. There's people that realize it has to be corrected. I literally feel like the whole point of this reading is to say there's nothing you can do, and you staying out of it is smart because you want to make things right, but you're like, the people who are screwing it up, they have to make it right. And I feel like that's what this card is saying. The people who screwed it up, it's on them. You can't go in there and save it. And I almost feel like they want you to. It's almost like the politicians, for example, see you and they're like, can you fix it? And you're like, no, I can't fix it. You got to fix it. And you're like, no, I can't fix it. What do you expect me to do? Can't you just have them get along? No, you fix your mess and that'll fix it. Put things the way they should go. That'll fix it. You're staying out. You're like, I can't fix this. That's your mess. And you're telling that. I feel like you might actually be saying this to somebody. Listen, this is a mess that you created. You got to fix that. I can't fix that. I can't fix your mess. The situation, literally, the King of Coins shows up with the discernment. It feels really complicated, but it's kind of like, okay, this money goes here, and then it goes over to this one, and then it goes over to... Like, somebody has to explain the round-robin ridiculousness. Somebody has to say, well, this money, it goes to here to pay this person. Yeah, we robbed that one to pay that one. And then with this one, we went to pay that one. And then that one went over to here. Then this one over there, and then see, this one went back to that person. So everybody worked out equally. And they're like... And people are not getting it. It seems more confusing than anything else. What's basically happening is they have to like scratch the whole system, whatever that is. They got to put it together correctly. And it's almost like taking a circuit board, turning off the power, taking off the circuit board, and putting things back where they're supposed to go, and things connected where they should be. Somebody else is going to have to fix their mess. And I feel like that's the big thing. You staying out of it, that's the only choice you actually have at this point. When it starts being reconstituted, and they're, for example, putting that panel back up the way it should be and connecting things where it should go, instead of robbing this one to pay that one, no. Let's leave that one alone. Don't rob anybody. Let's work on this so that you can pay the correct person the way you should, when you should, and everything's going back in line. That's when you get involved in this. You got to wait to the side until your time comes forward. I'm starting to feel like this one's confusing. It's like bothering me because I feel like what they're saying is you have to wait until the people who screwed up the situation start fixing it themselves. When they take it all down and break it down to its base level and they start rebuilding anew from the base, that's when you get involved. That's when you can help. There's a lot of stress for you when that happens. You got the Ten of Wands. It's a lot to build this back up. It's a lot to get it going again. But I feel like once you're there and you're doing it, it does start to come together again. It's a slow-going process when it does come in, the Page of Pentacles. But when it does, you got the Queen of Coins and the Gratitude. People will get along a lot better. These attitudes will fall to the wayside over time. Everything will fall to the wayside that was ridiculous before. These attitudes, these little skirmishes, east side, west side ridiculousness. I feel like it's a lot of stress on you to like explain, like, no, you don't rob that one, don't do that, hold your money, wait, and then pay this one when you're supposed to, the one you're supposed to when you're supposed to. Let's do that. Leave that one alone. I feel like you have to police it. I feel like you're more policing it to make sure like people don't fall back into bad habits and create this round robin ridiculousness again. You're kind of policing it. Like, no, don't go back into that habit because we know what a problem that was. Do it the way it should be. This has been corrected. We've wiped it all out to the base level. We built it back correctly. Now just do things the way they should be done. It's stressful for you to police it, but it will work out. Over time, it will finally go the right way. It'll finally fly right. But they're saying this is the whole point of this reading. Hold to the side, hold to the side, hold to the side. When the people who created the situation incorrectly, when they take it all the way down, once they take it back down to the base level, let them start building it, then help them and police it to build it correctly. And this will be better. This will go back to the way it should be. And that's where your strength is. It is stressful for you. I don't want to play that down. But you can do it. You're strong. It's very helpful. This is making your effort worth it instead of it connecting into this ridiculousness. So it will work out. It does work out. It's just kind of like... I feel like it was confusing. It was confusing to me because it's just kind of like... all this ridiculous... Like there's other people causing the problems, and then it's like the people getting angry are not the people who are causing the problems. It's the people behind them. And until the people behind them step up, break it down to the base level, until they do that and start building it correctly and putting it back the way it should be done, you're not going to be able to be effective. So you got to wait for that. When it starts building correctly from the base, that's your time to move forward. It's going to be a lot of stress, but you're going to make it. Things will finally be correct. Finally. All right. I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.